My stepsister slept with my ex-fiancé and married him. My family think I should be over it already. I'm 28 now, but when I was 23, my life took a heart-wrenching turn. I was engaged to Ryan, who was 32 at that time. We seemed to have a future together, or so I thought. But then, my stepsister Kelly, who was 24, came into the picture. She begged me to leave Ryan, confessing that they were in love. Apparently, Ryan was too cowardly to break up with me because he didn't want to hurt me or my family. When I confronted Ryan, he flatly denied it. He claimed that Kelly had been making advances towards him and that he had kept it from me to protect our relationship. He pleaded with me not to believe her, and like a fool, I chose to trust him. Kelly, however, grew increasingly resentful. She started making cruel remarks, saying that I was forcing a man who didn't love me to marry me due to my low self-esteem. A month later, she sent me a video that shattered my world. It was a video of them having sex in my bed, along with multiple screenshots of their conversations. In those messages, Ryan told her he loved her, wished she was the one he was marrying, and complained about how I was keeping them apart. I was devastated and filled with rage, but my best friend advised me to handle it calmly. So, the next week when Ryan was at work, I quietly moved out. I reached out to my dad and stepmom and asked if I could stay with them temporarily. I took back the money I had put into our joint account for the wedding and transferred the rest to Ryan before closing the account. Once I was settled, I sent all those screenshots to our relatives and his dot. Ryan tried numerous times to get back together with me. But when I found out he had proposed to Kelly with the same ring he gave me, I had left it behind. I blocked him. Now, Kelly is my stepsister from my mom's side. I have other step-siblings and a half-sister from my mom's second marriage. They all attended Kelly and Ryan's wedding. Whenever I tried to express how hurt I was that they were supporting Kelly and Ryan as if what they did to me was insignificant, they just brushed it off, saying they couldn't completely cut them out because they were family. Since then, I haven't spent a single holiday with my mom's side. My older biological brother and sister haven't either. I only see my mom and half-sister when I invite them to my place because Kelly and Ryan moved in with my mom and stepped out a year after their marriage. Our relationship has been really rocky, but thankfully, I've grown closer to my dad, stepmom, and their children. They've been extremely supportive throughout this whole ordeal. On New Year's Day, my boyfriend, now my husband, proposed to me. We had a small engagement party, and I invited my mom and half-sister. They didn't show up, claiming I was excluding half of our family. I didn't invite my stepdad or other step-siblings because of how hurtful they had been when the truth about Kelly and Ryan came out. They made it seem like it was my fault for getting in the way of true love and painted me as a spiteful villain for being angry. We were planning to have our wedding ceremony this summer, but in late February, my husband suggested postponing it until next year due to concerns about COVID. Then, a month before our original wedding date, I found out I was pregnant. So, we had a courthouse wedding on that date and planned to hold the formal ceremony next year. Only my dad's side of the family knew about the pregnancy and the wedding. My stepmom loves knitting and has been making things for the baby. She posted about it on Facebook and tagged me. I had no problem with the post. I never told my mom's side about the pregnancy because they never seemed interested in my life or relationship, so I didn't bring it up. An hour after the post, my mom called, demanding to know if I was pregnant and expressing disbelief that I hadn't told her. Since then, she's invited me and my husband over multiple times, but I've declined every time. My stepdad, whom I haven't spoken to much in 5 years, reached out to say he was excited to meet the baby and my husband. The same goes for my siblings. Even Kelly contacted my husband to congratulate us. I was furious. The next time my mom and stepdad called, I finally let it all out. I told them I didn't want them to keep inviting me over when they knew I'd have to see Kelly and Ryan if I came. I told them how deeply hurt and angry I still was about what they did to me and how my family had dismissed my feelings. I said they wouldn't abandon Kelly and Ryan, but were quick to leave me in the lurch during the worst betrayal of my life. I even told them I wasn't sure I wanted people like them in my child's life. My mom burst into hysterical crying, saying I was being cruel and that I couldn't deprive her of her first grandchild. But the thing is, my sister already has 2 adopted daughters, and my mom hasn't even tried to bond with them. She just kept wailing about how I might be the only one to give her grandchildren since my stepsisters were having trouble getting or staying pregnant, and my half-sister didn't want kids. My stepdad got angry and defensive. He accused me of being petty for holding on to something that happened 5 years ago. He said I should understand how love works since I had found someone else. He claimed Kelly and Ryan were happy together and that I should be happy for them like they were for me and my husband. Ironically, My sister told me that Kelly and Ryan seemed on the verge of divorce and argued all the time. My mom even complains to her about them, and my siblings all dislike Ryan but pretend to like him for Kelly's sake. I ended up hanging up because I was so angry. When I get angry, I cry, and I didn't want them to think they had gotten to me. Since then, I've been bombarded with texts and calls from my mom's family. They all keep telling me I should get over it. It's gotten so bad that my husband and I switched phones so he could screen my messages for me. TLDR, my stepsister slept with my ex-fiancé and married him. I'm now happily married to someone else and expecting our first child. My family thinks I should be over it, but the anger persists, and I have no desire to reconcile with my ex or stepsister. They're pressuring me to forget it ever happened. How can I make my family understand that what Kelly and Ryan did is unforgivable? I don't want to cut them off completely, but is that my only option?